Oh my god, I hate this movie. I hate this movie so much. Hi guys, my name is Misbah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This video is a continuation of my last week's video, everything I've watched on Netflix, plus what I recommend. I'm basically doing a part 2 because I listed everything and their rates in my last video. However, I didn't go in detail unless it was one of my top favorite shows, movies, or stand-up comedies. So today I'm going to go in more detail about everything that I didn't mention before. So yeah, let's get started. First are what I rated 10 out of 10. So I'm just gonna read off of my iPad that's right here. Working Moms 2012, Queen, Money Heist, Lovebirds, Freezing Hot, Orange is the New Black, Jane the Virgin, Murder Mystery, The Good Place, Insatiable, Homecoming King. So in my last video, I go in more detail about each and every one of these shows and movies and explain why I like them. But if you don't want to watch my last week's video, I'll give you a little glimpse of what I basically said. So basically, I either thought it was unique or relatable, it must be funny and probably have a plot twist, and or I love the actors and the characters they portray in the show, movie, etc. Dumpling, Three Idiots, A Series of Unfortunate Events, Cheer, Pets 2, Incredibles 2, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, Motichur Chaknachur, John Mulaney, The Comeback Kid, Liza Confirmed Kills, Murder to Mercy, The Centoya Brown Story, The Grinch, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Sex Education, The Haunting of Hill House, Despicable Me, Shameless, and You. So these are what I gave the rate 9 out of 10. Basically, I would have gave them a 10 out of 10. However, the list would get a little too lengthy. So I just picked my favorites. However, I would go out of my way and to recommend these shows or movies to you, depending on how much I know you and what I believe you would like to watch. Again, there's a lot of shows and movies that I've listed just now. I'm only gonna pick a few that I think are super good that I will talk to you about. So the first one is John Mulaney, The Comeback Kid. My favorite joke from this stand-up special is how he apologizes about everything, and I find that super relatable. But if you want to watch his stand-up special, it's mostly about what he thought life was versus what it really is, and it's super funny. And if you love John Mulaney, then obviously you should watch it. The next show on my list is The Haunting of Hill House. This is a horror show. I don't do horror very well. I screamed a handful of times, and there's a lot of jump scares in this show, so be aware of that. Basically about a family that moves into a haunted house and they don't believe it's haunted. All about weird things that they notice, and specifically there is this thing called a red room, and the idea of the red room is just mind-boggling, and it's something that you must watch the show to figure out. And the next one on this list that I want to mention is Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. So this is a sitcom comedy. Basically the story is the main character, when she was like a little girl, she was kidnapped. She was put in a bunker for 17 years with a bunch of other girls, and basically the storyline is her getting out of the bunker and adjusting to life in New York City. Basically she's like this naive kid adult living in New York City, and it's all about the things that she faces, and it's super funny, and it's mostly a comedy, and it's a little bit childish. However, I'm childish. Next, what I've rated a 8 out of 10. Dungle, Chennai Express, Padman, Eliza, Elder Millennial, Not Fancy, Just Go With It, Madra Brani Immigrant, Seth Meyers, Lobby Baby, Bird Box, Stranger Things, Ant-Man and the Wasp, The Sky is Pink, Love is Blind, Grey's Anatomy, The Office, Ali Wong, Baby Cobra, Lucifer, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So these are good shows, but sometimes I would get bored and I would either pull out my phone. Basically, it didn't have my attention the whole time. However, compared to the other shows on this list, these are more entertaining. I usually use them as like background. I usually can finish a show within like 3 days, and if it's summer, I can finish it in a night. These took a little bit longer, a week and change. There's a lot of, most of these have a lot of seasons, such as Grey's Anatomy, Lucifer, The Office, just to name a few off the top of my head. Those all have a bunch of seasons, so those obviously took longer to watch. Sometimes you just get bored and pull out your phone. So movies like Sky is Pink and Dungle, I would actually tell you to watch. However, for me, it's a one-time watch, and the movies that are at the 10 out of 10, I would watch again. Funny story about The Sky is Pink. The reason I think the name makes no sense with what the movie is actually about. So the movie itself is about this family from India who has a child who has like a rare disease, and they save up money. They move to Europe to get better health care and more opportunities for their little girl who is sick. And basically she goes to school one day. This is how they named the show. She basically went to school one day and she drew a picture, and in the picture she drew the sky as pink, and some kid must have told her the sky is not pink, and she went and told her mom, who is Priyanka in the movie, he made fun of me for drawing this guy as pink, and the whole line was, oh, it's okay, my baby Sky can be any color. That's how they named the show. That's not the best way to name a show. I usually like movies that have like a hidden meaning within their title or just some significance. Next is Love is Blind. I like the show. It was actually very entertaining. However, at times I was so annoyed with the character, aka Jessica. She basically annoyed the crap out of me because she was basically playing with the dude's feelings. So Love is Blind is like speed dating almost. So they get to know each other without seeing each other for like 10 days, and they have to propose within the days, and then they spend like, I guess, a month together, and at the end of the month you say I do or you don't. Some of them were like shocking, like you just expected them to say whatever, and they didn't end up saying it. So yeah, there's a little bit of suspense, but there's also so much annoyingness between one character, one person. It's not a character. I also wanted to say Grey's Anatomy and Stranger Things are also great shows, but I bet you don't need me to tell you that they are. Next, what I've rated a 7 out of 10. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, White Gold, Russian Doll, Trevor Noah, Son of Patricia, Hit and Run, Kevin Hart, What Now, Ali Wong, Hard Knock Wife, Cat Williams, Great America, Kim's Convenience, Bounty Hunter, Set It Up, The Society, Girl Boss, He's Just Not That Into You, and How to Get Away with Murder. Same reasons as number 8. These shows are good, however, they took a lot longer to watch, and sometimes I would get bored, I'd pull out my phone, I just play them while I'm like doing homework or something, not really paying attention, but they're on. First one is Kevin Hart's What Now. It started off as if it was a movie. It's obviously a stand-up special, but it started off as a movie. The beginning ends with him walking onto stage. Just the entertainment level just exponentially goes down, because obviously movies are more entertaining than someone standing on a stage. That wasn't smart, but it was funny. However, I thought it was short. I was just expecting more from Kevin Hart because he's Kevin Hart. Next is How to Get Away with Murder. This show just felt so long. I felt like they dragged it a lot. I can honestly, from season 2 to season 5, I don't know who died. I will say season 1 and the last season that just came out, super good, but everything in between is just meh. So that is why it's a 7. Next is the show Kim's Convenience. So this is also a Canadian sitcom. So it's basically about this Korean immigrant family that moved to Canada, and they have this small business, and it's just about their daily life and how their family is not perfect. It's a good portrayal of an immigrant family and their struggles and how they live life compared to other people, and it's really funny. I like the show, but again, it's something to watch when I have nothing to watch. Next is Russian Doll. I actually like the show, however, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what was happening. Like, as the show ended, I realized I had no idea what was happening. The idea was cool. So basically, as a Russian doll, you open it and it gets smaller, so keep that in mind when we're talking about the show. Basically, it's about the main character waking up and she dies, and she repeats that over and over again until she figures out how to not die. And as more deaths happen, the amount of stuff that's significant to her goes down. It was a good show. It was entertaining while watching. I was just confused, so 7. Next, what I've rated a 6 out of 10. On my blog, Bodyguard, Article 15, Bolt, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Interactive, Sarah Silverman, A Speck of Dust, Adam Devine, Best Time of Our Lives, Someone Great, Failure to Launch, Always Be My Maybe, and Gossip Girl. Some of you are like, what? On My Block? Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of On My Block. I love the idea and the storyline. However, there's one character / one actor, I'm not sure her name, but whoever plays Monse, I can't handle it. I don't think she's good at acting. I know that's like mean to say, but I'm sorry. If every time she speaks I cringe. Like, she has no emotion when she talks, and it feels like she's reading off a piece of paper. But I do like the show. I just don't like that one character, and she brings it down a lot. Next show is Gossip Girl. The show was, I watched it because my cousin really liked it. However, I wasn't the biggest fan. Basically, the show is about these rich high schoolers who go to a private school, and this one kid who got in merit-based, and it's about a person who writes all their tea on an online platform or an app or something. So all the tea and all the gossip is on this app. But I don't like the show because it was very stretched. And 2, I just don't think whoever wrote the show had in mind who Gossip Girl was gonna be. Whoever Gossip Girl is at the end, I don't think they planned it as him. They just gave him the title and then ended the show. The next movie is Always Be My Maybe. Basically, it's about 2 high school students that fell in love when they were in high school. As they graduated, they sort of separated and they reunited, and you can guess what happened after that. It's just very oversaturated content. Next, what I've rated 5 out of 10. To All the Boys I've Loved Before and Aziz Ansari Right Now. I felt the movie To All the Boys I've Loved Before was overhyped, and because of that overhyped, I was having like really high expectations and it just didn't deliver. So the movie is about this girl who wrote love letters to all of her crushes, and she never sent them, or she never tried to talk to her crushes. And her little sister found those letters and she mailed them out. That's about how she dealt with all those love letters being sent out. Plus, she has like this fake boyfriend. To the rest of their friends, they look like they're dating, but like they're not dating. But you can just guess what happens while they're in this fake relationship. Saw it coming, not original. Next is Aziz Ansari Right Now. Starts off his comedy special with addressing his sexual assault allegations. So that's a way to start a show. And two, the whole time he was sitting on a stool. It was so boring. Well, I guess I'm sitting on a stool. Okay, but like, he says he's sorry and he's a comedian. Don't be sitting on a stool. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Next, what I've rated a 4 out of 10. Zapped, Ellen DeGeneres, Relatable, and Secret Obsession. So Zapped, I watched when I was a little kid. For a little kid, it was really good. As a 17-year-old, it's okay. Next is Ellen DeGeneres' Relatable. This was boring. Period. It wasn't relatable. I was bored. I didn't even finish it. It's a 4. Next is the movie Secret Obsession. This was actually a good movie, I will say that. The idea was good. It's basically about this girl who is kidnapped and drugged by a man. She wakes up not remembering her family, not remembering anything, so he says that it's an accident, but it's not, and you would have to watch the movie to find out what happens. However, the whole time the movie just felt like this low budget film. The idea was great, just the execution was very poor. Next, what I rated a 3 out of 10. Naked, Never Have I Ever, and Life Sentence. Naked is a Netflix film that was meant to be a comedy. It just wasn't funny. It was basically this dude reliving a day to not end up naked, trying to not die, just like Russian Doll. However, it was meant to be funny and it just wasn't. Russian Doll is more cynical. Next is Never Have I Ever. The show, I was expecting to like break stereotypes that like brown people hold. However, the show basically reinforced them by making the main character this try-hard, smart Indian. Like, we already have that stereotype. So I just was expecting more and it did not deliver on that. It's basically about this girl who is a high schooler and she just wants to become popular. And it's just her trying to become popular throughout the whole show. Next is the show Life Sentence. Originally, I thought it was a unique idea, but when you like actually think about it, it makes no sense. Basically about this girl who has cancer and she knows she's gonna die in 6 months. Her family is like all perfect in her mind, and she has a fiance who married her knowing she was gonna die, which is like, what? But she does. So basically, she gets like some type of treatment and turns out she's not gonna die in 6 months. And she gets this hard awakening that her life's not perfect. So it's about her actually figuring out her family is a complete mess and her parents are getting divorced and she doesn't actually love the man that she's married to. The show was okay and it only has 1 season, so I'm not the only one that thinks so. Next, what I've rated a 2 out of 10. Tall Girl, Triple Frontier, All American, Rustum, Phantom, Kabir Singh, Catherine Ryan, In Trouble, Mom, and Lead. Tall Girl was stupid because no one gets made fun of for being tall. Short, yes. Tall, no. I'm 5'8", which is taller than average. The average woman is 5'4". Being tall is not one of those things that you get made fun of. So just the idea of the movie, stupid. And it's basically about her going to prom while confident. You want to watch it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Next is All American. I watched this show because TikTok told me to, and no, I don't trust anything that TikTok tells me to watch now. All American is based all around high school football, so if you're interested in that, maybe. Basically, it's about this rich Beverly Hills high school team. Good, but they're not that good. So they just need one player to make them all-star. They recruit, which you're not supposed to do apparently, a kid from the ghetto, Crenshaw. So they get a kid from Crenshaw and then their team is bam, so much better, and they win their championship and all that, blah, 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 blah. But this main character, who's the kid that goes from Crenshaw to Beverly Hills, is so annoying. He's always talking about how he's doing everything for Crenshaw. He like looks down upon the kids from Beverly Hills because he thinks he's like raised better because he's from Crenshaw, which I get, like, but it's just being poor and then living with a rich family doesn't make you better. So he thinks he has like better morals, and I feel like it's this ego that I hate. Unentertaining. Next is the movie Kabir Singh. Oh my god, I hate this movie. I hate this movie so much. the fact that it's a 2 is incredible because I would have gave it a 0. The only reason it's a 2 is because Shahid Kapoor, who plays Kabir Singh, the main character, did a very good job acting. However, with that being said, this movie sucks. The plot sucks. This movie is stupid. Basically about a boy and a girl who meet in college and they date, but when he goes to ask for her hand in marriage, her father says no. So they separate, and he's this very smart dude who's a doctor. However, because he wasn't allowed to marry this girl, he goes into this binge of drinking, which he ends up losing. So he has an alcohol problem. He ends up losing his job because of it. He has anger issues, and worst of all, he's abusive. In the middle of the movie, out of nowhere, they're just talking in the streets, and he just goes, slaps her in the face. Boom! Out of nowhere, me and my mother like look at each other because we're watching this in theaters, just complete shock. So he's this abusive person who lost his job, and he wins the girl. Mind-boggling. I would have liked it better if, you know, they went separate ways and they found someone better for themselves. Like, that would just make more sense to me. Just because you met in college and you were in love at one time, it doesn't make you like soulmates. Like, it's okay to find other people. Next, what I've rated a 1 out of 10. I've gave the movie Obvious Child a 1 out of 10. The only reason it's not a 0 is because I didn't finish the movie. So maybe it could have got better, but it probably didn't. So I gave it a 1. The movie sucked. I didn't like watching it. I don't even remember the plot. I just know it's just about this unplanned pregnancy. And lastly, what I've rated a 0 out of 10. After Platform, The Memoirs of a True International Assassin, How to Fix a Drug Scandal, and 365 Days. All these sucked. They had no storyline, and that's why they're 0. I'm gonna start off with the movie The Platform. I watched this because TikTok told me to watch it. Some girl was like, oh my god, this is such a great movie, and then I went to Netflix, watched it. I was confused the whole time. So it's basically a prison, and how it works is you have this whole plate of food, or whole cylinder block of food, and it goes from prison level to prison level to prison level. You don't actually know how many levels there are, and it goes down, and as you go down the levels, there's no food left on the table. And the main character is actually a journalist who just wants to be in the prison, just to be in the prison, I guess. I don't remember his reasoning. He tries to do like this rationing thing. It doesn't work out, and somehow there's a kid in the prison, and he gets to the lowest level, and then he just walks away, and then the movie ends. Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It made no sense. Next is How to Fix a Drug Scandal. This was super boring. I love documentaries, even with such an interesting topic such as a drug scandal. Somehow it was just boring. Like, how can you do that? How did it happen? I don't know. But it was super boring. I wouldn't recommend watching it. Next movie is 365 Days. TikTok also made me watch this. Sucked. The actors sucked. The characters' accents sucked. Their English sucked. The storyline sucked. Basically, it's about this girl who has 365 days to fall in with this mafia king, and the only reason she has 365 days to fall in love with him is because right before his father died, he was the last girl she saw. That's it. How does the father dying have to do anything with the girl you kidnapped to make her fall in love with you? I don't know. Oh, also, the only reason she falls in love with him, sorry, spoiler, is because Stockholm Syndrome. Like, did the people that created the movie forget that? He literally kidnapped her. No wonder she fell in love. Okay, next movie is The True Memoirs of an International Assassin. So this was a kid's movie, and it had a comedian, and it bombed. There's nothing much to say. Anyways, that is mostly everything that I've watched on Netflix. There was a couple at the 7, 8, and 9 mark. I couldn't talk about each and every one, otherwise this video would get way too long. It's already gonna be pretty long as it is, so I'm sorry. If you ask me in the comments, maybe I'll answer why I don't like them. If you guys like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you like the videos that are coming from me, don't forget to hit subscribe. Also, comment down below your least favorite thing to watch on Netflix, your least favorite show, movie, or stand-up special. And hopefully you guys had fun watching this video. Have a great day. Stay safe.